everyone, thank you for coming to my presentation today. My name's Inea Prosser. I'm a final year PhD student at the University of Bath, and my work kind of sits at the intersection of social, moral and environmental psychology. So I look at how moralised identities can either enable or inhibit societal change. So today I'm going to be talking about this poster here, which is Prefiguring a Vegan Future in a Meat-Dominated Present, how the vegan campout reaffirms and reinvigorates vegan identities. Okay, so first of all, we would conceptualize vegans and veganism as a minority moralized practice identity. So to break this distinction down, what we mean by that is vegans are in the societal minority. So only about 1% of people in total in the UK, for example, are vegan. This has increased about like fourfold in the past few years, and it stands to increase a lot more, but it's still obvious that vegans are in the societal minority, currently at least. Their identity surrounds a specific, very moralised practice, in this case not eating meat or consuming any animal products at all, that means this combination of them being in the minority, it being moralised, and it being surrounding a specific practice which is visible to everyone pretty much all the time. It's very hard to hide what you eat from your peers, means that vegans often face a lot of social difficulties and a lot of stigma in society. People are always questioning why they're vegan. All of these kind of microaggressions that, can really add up over time and can be really exhausting for a lot of people who are vegan. So we kind of looked at this context of the vegan campout. Now the vegan campout is interesting because although vegans are in the societal minority, the vegan campout is a space where 10,000 vegans gather every single year. All of the acts are 100% vegan, all the food is 100% vegan, so it's a very much an identity-centering space which is centred around veganism. And this might be the first time that a lot of people who go to the event have experienced a space that prioritises veganism in this way. So we were interested in looking at how this kind of affects people's conceptualizations of their identity, whether it was a good thing, whether it was a bad thing, how it influenced them. So to look at this, we did a bunch of interviews with in the field at the end of the event with attendees. So we interviewed 18 event attendees between 19 and sort of 61 years old, and then we used inductive thematic analysis to identify how the participants described their experiences at the campout and how their vegan identity was affected by it. So we have broadly these kind of preliminary themes. So we have 5 of these. The first one is social connection. So people viewed the event very much as a connector. So this participant says it's a connector, it's a real connector, helping people, helping vegans connect and meet each other. And this other participant actually said something that was really interesting to me, in that they hadn't actually met a vegan in real life before going to the event. And I think, all of us know someone who is vegan in our daily lives, but we forget how isolated socially vegans can be from other vegans, particularly if you're introverted and particularly if you live in a rural community, for example. The next theme was one of recharging. So this participant felt like going to the event had made them relight their fire for their veganism. They said they could get lost in their day-to-day and it just re-centered them, which was really great to see. A lot of people throughout the interviews made direct contrast with the real world. It was almost like the campout had provided them a context for actually the world that they wanted to see versus the world that they were living in. So one person here says you're disgusted by the difference but proud of the difference at the same time. Another one says it's such a progressive environment. Sometimes people just need to be surrounded by that to really understand. Vegans also talked about the event kind of pushing their veganism and inspiring them to go a bit further. The participants here said, it's pushed things for me, I want to get more involved. They spoke about seeing people do lots of great things, and they kind of had this experience of them being like a role model, and they wanted to follow in the footsteps of people who were speaking at the event or people they've met at the event, and just go farther in their activism. Someone also described it in a very kind of spiritual sense. So this person says, I've got to help other beings, I've felt the call this weekend. And then also just this final theme of recognition and belonging. So I was finally in the midst of a group of people that shared my ideals. And just a reminder that this is the first time in a lot of these vegans' life that this is the case, because vegans aren't often understood in their day-to-day lives. So just to finalise, my kind of ending points are vegans are a social identity group that due to their minority and moralised status, they can't actually access the benefits that that social identity brings to them in terms of community, like energising, that kind of thing. So one way to get around that and to help people who are activists in environmental and moral issues is to provide these kind of joyous spaces for people to meet other vegans, to reconnect, and to get started on their activism.